Do you want to know which international attraction Jeff said no to? You'll find out on today's Annual Pass. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Annual Pass. This is the podcast where we talk about all things theme park, shows, rides, attractions, snacks, fireworks, you name it. If it's about a theme park, we're going to talk about it. My name is your host. That's not right. I am your host, Jack Pattillo, and of course, joining me as always is my lovely, beautiful, and talented co-host, Mr. Geoff Ramsey. Hi, Jeffrey.
Boy, you rolled with that really well.
It's been a while. We've been overseas, and I got things are. It's been a while since we sat in these chairs and done an episode. So anyway, we're happy to be back here in the States. We've got a fun episode today. We are talking about our time at a theme park in England, in the UK. We went to Thorpe Park, Jeff.
I am so excited about this trip for a myriad of reasons.
Yeah.
One, it was nice to be able to leave the country and go back to England, a place that we love and that is near and dear to Rooster Teeth's heart. We've done many events there over the last decade or so. Two, it was a great opportunity to finally break out of the Disney Universal rut that we're in and see a little bit more of the world.
That's a little bit more of a negative word.
Just a rut. Just stuck in these two phenomenal parks that are Disney and Universal. And then we got to go and spend the day with some pass holders.
Yeah, some great people.
I did some high fives.
Yeah.
Saw some shirts. Got to ride rides with actual pass holders. That was cool. It was really fun. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. It's going to be a fun time talking about. We'll go through sort of we're going to walk through kind of our day at the park. Before we get into that, though, thank you again for everyone listening and watching right now. It means the world to us. Please, if you haven't subscribed over youtube.com/annualpass, go over there. We did a live stream last week or 2 weeks ago for our anniversary, and it was a lot of fun. I built the Lego castle that Jessica and Jennifer
We're working on a puzzle.
We're working on a puzzle now, but we're going to start doing that hopefully about maybe once a month or so, depending on our schedules, and we're going to be putting up more content on that YouTube channel. I got we'll talk about this later, but I got the unofficial Disney cookbook, and maybe I can try making a Dole Whip.
That sounds fun. We should definitely try to make some recipes out of this.
Yeah,
that
so
sounds like good.
We're going to be putting more and more stuff up on that YouTube channel. So subscribe over there. Join our Discord server as well. That's really awesome. You can join the Rope Drop Running Club. We've got that group going over there. Lots of fun stuff. Also, grab some merchandise in the store. We've got the hats. We've got the pin sets. We've got the new shirt. Jeff's rocking our new Universal, our former Universal shirt, which, again, I keep saying it, but I can't believe legal let us get away with that. It's so awesome.
Stop saying that part out loud.
They don't listen to the show. It's fine. But, check that out, and also follow us over on our social media, annual_pass and all this stuff. But, Jeff, let's just dive into it now.
I would love to.
So, Thorpe Park, let me read this little blurb from their site. Thorpe Park Resort is the UK's most thrilling theme park, located between the towns of Chertsey and Staines-upon-Thames, and Surrey. That's Staines-upon-Thames.
Wasn't like Staines and Slough? Weren't those two of the places that they lived in the office?
Yeah, Slough was for sure. In Surrey, the park is operated and owned by Merlin Entertainments and is home to over 30 exhilarating rides, including Stealth, the UK's fastest roller coaster, as well as unmissable live events and quirky on-site themed accommodations, the Thorpe Park Shark Cabins,
which were very charming. I would love to see what they look like on the inside. Yeah.
After the Thorpe Park estate was demolished in the 1930s, the site became a gravel pit. Thorpe Park Resort was then built in the 1970s on the gravel pit, which was partially flooded, creating a unique water-based theme for the park, which would later lead to the marketing strapline, an island like no other. It was officially opened to the public by Lord Louis Mountbatten in 1979, and the years since, the park has continually expanded, become one of the UK's most beloved theme parks. And you know who loves this theme park?
Who?
Rahul Kohli.
Oh, really?
I mentioned that we were going. He's like, I love that place. It's my favorite. And I was like, what are the odds?
I had no idea.
So I don't know if he lived out there when he was in the UK or what, but
he is from there, I guess.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was just his.
It's like his childhood haunt, maybe.
But yeah, he said he loved the park, and so it's like, dude, we got to get him out there sometime.
Oh, that'd be great.
We got to go back. So we had a blast out there. There's a pass holder by the name of Matt who set us up. He's worked with the theme park in the past, and he got us a VIP tour of the park, which totally spoiled me, Jeff.
Yeah, totally spoiled us. And by the way, how lovely was everyone who worked at the park and who the people that gave us the tour. They were just
Hattie was awesome.
Hattie was fantastic, and she was just the best guide. Everybody involved in that day was just delightful.
Yeah. So shout
except
out to
for
Hattie.
you. You were a grumpy, didn't want to be there, in a bad mood.
Man.
It was the worst.
I had a rough morning that morning. My alarm didn't go off, so I was rushing, and I had to get a COVID test because we were flying home the next. It was a nightmare, but we got out there and we squeezed in as much as we possibly could. We did a lot of stuff over the course of like 5 or 6 hours. So, the park itself is great. It's I would say for those of you who've never been to a UK park, it's kind of, if you think of like Disney and Universal as kind of the most themed kind of big polished attraction, like shows or theme parks versus like a Six Flags, there's more of kind of like not a carnival, but it's got more of, it's less theming, more kind of like, oh, we just have roller coasters and stuff. This sort of falls right in the middle of those.
Yeah.
The theming on some of the attractions was great.
And you don't expect a lot of like AAA properties to show up outside of Disney and Universal. You feel like they kind of like suck up all the IP.
Yeah.
But we saw there were rides or stuff associated with Angry Birds, with The Walking Dead, with Saw.
Yeah. Darren Brown.
Darren Brown, who's apparently a very big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in there. A lot of things I was not expecting. It really caught me off guard at how well done some of these rides were.
Yeah, and the like, to set it off, well, I don't know when you want to get into it, but the theming on the very first ride we experienced was their IP.
Yeah, let's go.
It was so cool.
Let's go through it. So we first walked into the park and we met up with our people and stuff, and then we're like, hey, where should we go first? And like, let's go to the Swarm, which was the first ride.
Why not?
It was kind of off. It was sort of like a dead end thing. It kind of went on. Like, let's just knock that one out, and then we can kind of do a loop around the rest of the park. So the Swarm, from their website, says experience speeds of almost 60 miles per hour as you ride on the wings of the Swarm, the UK's first winged roller coaster. What that means is there's a track down the middle, and there were 2 seats on either side of the track. So it's basically like a big wing, and you and I sat on the right side on the front row, and it was a really cool coaster. It was very quick, very fast coaster, as far as like it was over very fast.
Very smooth.
Very, very smooth. Like, it caught me off guard at how smooth this thing was. This is, I think, their newest coaster too, so that might have something to do with it. But the Swarm was a lot of fun, and the theming around it was meant to be like an alien invasion, and so there was a lot of like wrecked vehicles and there's a plane crashed.
There was like upside down ambulances and like burned out buildings.
And they had like ash kind of raining on the whole thing the whole time. It was really cool.
That was such a, it's funny. I don't know when it comes out, but we've been talking recently about what is your favorite like mechanic in a theme park or in a ride, and I think I mentioned smell, but I had forgotten that ash thing worked so well.
Yeah,
and it was so clever, and I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, because at first you're like, "What is this stuff falling?" And I was like, "Oh, this is intentional. Like,
this
is meant to be
part
here.
of it." And it really does suck you in. It you really do, because it's kind of off in the middle of nowhere. So you kind of go off to the side, and you're kind of you feel very separate from the rest of the park, and it feels like it's in its own little world where things have gone very wrong, and you are instantly kind of drawn into that.
Yeah.
And it's done so well.
And it was fun for us because that was our first attraction. So we were kind of getting our bearings in the park, and it's like, okay, what is going on here? It's like, oh, wow, that kicked us off to a high bar very, very quickly. So that was a lot of fun. From there, we walked over to another attraction called Rush, which is this big swinging thing that goes back and forth.
No, thank you.
So that was going to be our second ride of the day. We were waiting because we got to go through like the exit of it basically to ride, because our VIP tour guide, they were like, okay, wait here, we'll get on. So we watched, a couple people go. Someone dropped a vape pen and hit one of our guests
on the shoulder,
which was great.
Which is funny because there's like netting all above you, safety netting, but there was just like one sliver it could have fallen through, and it just like threaded the needle.
And so, and then we're sitting there like, okay, it's like, okay, we're gonna be on the next one. And so the ride ended, and we start walking towards it, and they're like, whoa, back up. And it's like, what? And they're like, oh, someone just threw up. Sure enough, there was a pile of something on the ground. Okay. And they're like, well, it's going to take some time because we have to clean this out.
A lot of that going on at Thorpe Park that day.
Like, okay, that's all right. So we're like, well, we'll come back to this one later. Unfortunately, we ended up not going back to that one, which it's basically a giant swing that goes back and forth. It says swing up to 75 feet at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour and feel up to 4 Gs as you swoop back towards the ground.
Or don't.
So we didn't get to go on Rush, unfortunately, but we were standing next to it for a bit. So we said, okay, well, we can't do Rush. Let's go to this next one over here, which is Colossus, Jeff. So Colossus says, ride the world's first 10-loop roller coaster and take on over 850 meters of record-breaking twisting track.
And when we get to Colossus and we get to board, they have to shut the ride down briefly because somebody else had a little pukey.
Yeah. Someone had an accident on another car,
and they had to run it and clean it.
Yeah, so they cleaned it off and then they ran it empty to hopefully dry it out, but eventually we got on and we got to ride that one as well. And so this one was we knew nothing going on to it. Like we could see it, obviously, but we didn't know what, like, everyone was like, oh, it's a world's first something.
But they wouldn't tell us what,
Yeah, and so we get on it, we ride it. It
sat in front.
Sat in the very front row. And
because we're very, very brave.
Jeff, what was the thing that you said that you saw immediately on the Colossus upon getting off that had you kind of freaked out? Do you remember?
I don't.
We got off this thing, and you said all they could see was rust.
Oh, yeah. I became hyper aware of all the rust on all the metal on every roller coaster.
This was definitely an older coaster, yeah.
Yeah.
But, so this one, it flips you upside down 10 times.
Yeah.
Including a run of corkscrews where you roll 4 times in a row, and then there's one last one the opposite direction. And it was interesting because it was a fun coaster, but it felt really slow. So by the time you're doing those barrel rolls, you're like, okay, here we go again. Whoa. All right, here we go again. Whoa.
You have way too much time to ponder the rust and your demise when you're corkscrewing around on that thing.
But so the Colossus themed around kind of like this old sort of broken down, kind of like, I guess, like Greek architecture type thing.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the ride. And apparently there's another one even worse than that at Alton Towers that we're going to check out called the Smiler, which everyone was talking about. So we'll go up to that one someday. Then after that, we went and we actually grabbed some hot dogs, which, do you remember the hot dogs?
I took Emily and I, we shared a giant hot dog, and we did it Lady and the Tramp style.
Those hot dogs, they tasted a bit funny. It's not the normal beef hot dog I'm used to.
It definitely tasted different, but I was starving at that point.
Yeah, I was very hungry at that point. And then we had a little fan meetup. We took some photos in front of the Thorpe Park sign they have in the park as well. That was fun. And then after that, we're like, okay, we just ate some food. We had kind of a big shaky ride. Let's get on something a little bit more chill. So we walked over to the back corner of the park, and we went on Rumba Rapids. You remember that one?
I do. Rumba Rapids was like one of those water spinny rides.
Mm-hmm. It was like a big raft where everyone's looking
like
inward.
A raft ride, yeah.
No, you don't really get super wet or anything like that at all. But it says enjoy a thrilling ride down the island's rapid river.
I did manage to get somehow, and I swear I didn't pee. Only my socks and my underwear got wet. The pants and the shoes were fine, but I don't know how they did that. Yeah.
But it was a fun little chill ride. It was a little bit more of a relaxation.
Ran into some pass holders in the line.
Yeah.
As we were coming off, they were going in.
As we were leaving, there were some pass holders going on, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we thought you guys might be here." And it's like, "Yeah, we've been saying we were going to be here." But anyway, took some photos with them. They were lovely. I mean, everyone there was lovely in general. Like I had no bad encounters at all. From there, we're like, "All right, let's ramp it back up again." And then we went on to Nemesis Inferno, which says spin, dive, and swoop around 750 meters of twisted steel track at speeds of up to 50 miles an hour on this thrilling coaster. This one was a lot of fun. This was a hanging coaster, your feet dangling again.
This is where things started to go wrong for me.
Yeah.
And
it picked up speed. This actually, it reminded me a lot of the Great White down at SeaWorld in San Antonio. The hanging coaster. There were some flips to it. I think it's a B&M coaster. It was really, really good. And then towards the end, there was this big, like, sort of like spinning, like, not a helix, but we started kind of going around pretty tight circles. And the G started picking up there. And I was like, whoa, all right. And then we finished up. And I could tell at that point you were having some rough times.
Yeah, I had already been a little jostled on the second ride, and then this one, it sent me into the nausea sphere, where I did not leave for the rest of the day, unfortunately. But it didn't stop me from doing stuff.
Yeah, we did a few more after that. So, and then there's also.
Did you like that one, by the way?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was a good coaster.
A lot of people's favorite. A lot of people we talked to throughout the day, we were kind of interviewing, because most of the people that we ran into or that we went to Thorpe Park with, it was their childhood park. They all had, like, kind of, you were talking about Rahul, they grew up with it, and they all had been riding it for like 10, 20 years in some cases, and without a doubt, almost everybody said that ride was their favorite.
They love that one. It was a lot of fun. It was really smooth. I enjoyed it a lot. Apparently, at Alton Towers, they have the Nemesis. So this is like the sequel to the Nemesis, apparently. And like people argue which one is better than the other. So it seems like Alton Towers and Thorpe Park are owned by the same company. And so they're sort of like sister parks. So kind of like you can go to both of them and get a different experience. So we'll have to go up to Alton Towers at some point. From there, we went over to this one caught me off guard. We went to The Walking Dead, the ride. Now, so this was one I wasn't expecting much. I knew it was an indoor coaster, but I was like, okay, this should be fun. And it's like, I don't know. Like it's a branded ride. We'll see how it is, see what the experience is like. And we went inside, and it was very, very well themed. We walked inside, they put us in this little queue room, and it had this intro video that immediately got you into it, where you could see like videos of the park, of like security cameras from the park, and then there were walkers everywhere, and they're like, oh my gosh, we gotta go, and this guy's like, go, go, go. You walk down this long hallway that's super dark with flashing lights and just groaning zombies around you, and
doors
it just
banging,
immediately sets like the tone of it, and just kind of gets you into it. And then you get on the ride, and it's an indoor roller coaster, kind of like Space Mountain style.
A dark ride, as they say, right?
Yeah. But it's not like a dark ride, but it's more roller coaster. Yeah. So kind of like the Mummy or something. So there's no flips, nothing like that. But it's, a little bit, it's still intense. But on the actual attraction, they have animatronics. They have screens. At points, like the vehicle itself would stop, and kind of there would be audio. So there's like a narrative as you're going through, because the whole idea is you're escaping the area, trying to get to a safe zone. And then at the end, again, stuff happens, and you finally make it to the end, and then they have actual like actors there as zombies, like groaning and swinging at you and stuff. It was cool. That caught me off guard how good that was.
Yeah, there's a couple of I don't want to spoil the Ghost Train one, but like I will say that the actors playing the zombies were a great touch.
Yeah,
and they did a kind of a cool job of assimilating into your group without you knowing it.
Yeah,
you don't know who the other people you're running through.
And it's super dark,
and they're like pushing you through these hallways, and you don't know these other people, and then suddenly you find out you're like, oh, I've been walking next to a zombie. Yeah.
And we'll probably do an episode on The Walking Dead, the ride, like a specific individual episode. So I don't want to get too specific into these things.
Okay.
Because I do want to do some deep dives into a couple of these rides.
Feel free to cut anything I said then.
After that, we did Darren Brown's Ghost Train, which has a ghost train that combines live action horror and thrilling effects. So they specifically asked us not to spoil this one.
Yeah.
So we will only talk briefly about kind of what's going on. Darren Brown, for those of you who don't know, is kind of like a David Blaine or a Mind Freak, or he's basically a magician in the UK. He does like really
he's like a mentalist illusionist kind of. I saw an ad, or I saw a billboard the next day when we were coming back. I was coming back from somewhere. I saw a billboard that he has like a seminar to teach you how to unlock like the potential of your mind or something. So I think you got
to find the key and shove it in and unlock it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we won't talk too much about this one, but there were just some really cool illusions, I'll say, that happened in this ride.
It was a VR ride. I think you can say that.
There was there was a VR element to it where you actually wore like a thing, and kind of that was neat because I'd never been on an attraction that included VR before. It's the first time ever for me.
Zero. I will say this. I don't think this is a spoiler. It has zero to do with Alan Rails, the Ghost Train superhero from Rick and Morty.
True. So yeah, maybe we'll get Darren Brown on Annual Pass someday, and we'll ask him like, what can we talk about on your Ghost Train show? From there, we walked over to the Black Mirror Labyrinth.
Oh, I forgot. That's another IP.
Yeah, so Black Mirror, obviously the Netflix show. Yeah, it was a Netflix show, right?
Yeah.
Or was it a BBC show?
I think it was a BBC show that aired on Netflix.
So Black Mirror Labyrinth, this was basically a maze. You're invited to play test the Labyrinth in the UK's first live Black Mirror experience.
Yeah.
So this one was kind of like almost like a fun house. Like there was mirrors. There was like they took your photo at the start of it and incorporated that into the attraction, which was really cool.
The dude who, like the human who navigates you through that at the beginning, did such a great job as the character he was playing. I wanted to find him later to tell him how good he was at his job, but I didn't get a chance.
And so it was a pretty neat thing. So the idea was like you're experiencing, you could like see the new technology, and you go in, and of course everything goes bad. Then it's a matter of like you have to get out, but it's literally like one of those. It's literally like one of those mirror
funhouse mirror maze.
Yeah, and so we had to like work our way out of it, and there was like a counting clock, and it was super intense, and then bad stuff happens, and there's smoke effects and air. It was a lot of fun. it was like, oh, this is a neat little thing. And so I enjoyed that one a lot. And then last but not least, Jeff, you pretty much called it a day after that, which is okay because I don't want to break you.
Yeah.
But we went, the royal we, went on Saw the Ride. So ride the world's first horror movie themed roller coaster with a beyond vertical 100-degree drop. So this was one that we saw in the park the whole day.
Yep.
And basically, it kind of, if you know Rip, Ride, and Rocket in Universal Studios, the lift hill is straight up. Like you're on your back going vertical up. And then there's no break, no pause, no slow down. You just whip over the top of this hill, and then it dips into the coaster. So it is 100 degrees. So you go beyond vertical down and then loop back out.
It looks like a bobby pin.
Yeah, or like a treble clef or something. Not whatever. Anyway, bass clef, whatever. And so this one was really, really cool. So Jeff backed out of it, but I rode
didn't back out. I never forwarded in.
So the ride itself, it's like there were some animatronics in it. Like you first get on it, it's a car, it's a smaller car, only 8 people on it, like 4 and 4, 2 rows. And the first thing you see the little like saw like mannequin or the little saw dummy on a tricycle, and he's talking to you. He's like, "Good luck trying to ride." And then I'll do an episode on this one because I really want to talk about this one. There's some really, really cool stuff, but there were a lot of like surprises that you thought maybe like, oh, this is bad, and then there's animatronics in there, and there's a lot of cool props throughout the whole thing. I will say this one rattled my head quite a bit. Like more so than anything else, I bonked my head a little bit on this one, and I was like pretty much done after it was over.
You coming off of that ride validated me not touching it. You looked worse for wear.
Yeah,
a little bit. Yeah,
but
it was the end of a long day.
It was a
lot
of
riding.
Yeah, we packed in quite a bit, but yeah, there were still a bunch of other rides that we ended up not going on. Like I said, Rush, we tried to go on, but we weren't able to.
Samurai, which there's no way in hell you're getting me on ever.
So I wrote down the notes of the stuff we didn't ride. I went over to the website and looked at it. So Samurai, I wrote Death Blade looking thingy.
Yeah.
So basically it was like this.
It's like Krull the ride.
Yeah, it's this 5-bladed ride that has seats on it that spin while it's also spinning like on a flat spin, but it lifts up in the sky. Oof. Vortex was another one where it's like kind of comes down and you have your back and it's spinning, kind of like one of those wall things you lay up against, but that also
like
lifts
the
it up.
Gravitron, no way.
And then Zodiac was the other one where you're sitting in a car and it starts spinning around until you whip out and then it lifts. So you're just basically doing flips over and over.
British people are obsessed with being spun.
And now one we didn't go on that I am a little sad we missed out was Stealth, which was the UK's fastest roller coaster.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Top Thrill Dragster or anything, it's basically the same idea where it just launches you super quick and then goes up a big top hat and then goes back down. So it's a real simple coaster, but it is the UK's fastest roller coaster.
How fast does it go?
80 miles an hour. So it's a 0 to 80 in like 1.3 seconds or something like that. So it throws you back in your seat. But if a top hat is kind of like if we talked about Velocicoaster, it's the big arch that goes up in the sky. So you basically use all that speed to get up to the top and then up and over. So we didn't ride that one. Tidal Wave was the one that goes down, has the big splash. It's a water ride. It's just kind of like you're on a boat, goes up and then has a big splash
Hell
down.
of a splash.
Yeah, we saw the splash. It was significant, but we didn't go on that one. Storm Surge, we didn't go on. That's a raft ride. Mr. Monkey's Banana Ride. Didn't go on that. That was one of like the pirate ship ones that go back and forth. But I just love Mr. Monkey's Banana Ride.
I wouldn't mind Mr. Monkey's Banana Ride. I think that would be fun.
So and then the Angry Birds 4D experience, we didn't go on either.
Didn't do that.
So that's a 4D show. And then Detonator. That was the one that's kind of like Doctor Doom's Fearfall, where it's the big tower
I would do
up.
that one.
Yeah.
I would do that one.
But this one, instead of kind of launching up, it goes up to the top and then drops down.
It's funny. I felt like we did just about everything, but you listing those, that's an entire day right there just in the rides we didn't go on. So definitely a reason to go back so that I can watch you ride most of that.
You'll go on Mr. Monkey's Banana
I'll go on
Ride.
Mr. Monkey, and I'll go on the Death Drop one.
Okay, and then also Rush we didn't go on either. So
yeah, I'll do Rush.
So I've got some fun facts here. Between 1983 and 1989, it was regularly used as a filming location for the Benny Hill Show. Which I knew you would appreciate. That's from Wikipedia. Also from Wikipedia, here's some records held by the park. So Nemesis Inferno is the first inverted coaster to feature interlocking corkscrews. So I don't know what that means, but they're interlocking corkscrews. The Swarm opened as Europe's tallest wing coaster. So that one goes up pretty tall. You can actually do a climb where you walk up to the top and be able to look around. Saw the Ride has the steepest drop not controlled by brakes and was marketed as the world's first horror movie-themed roller coaster. While the park claimed it had the world's steepest drop on any roller coaster, this isn't true, as Steel Hog at Indiana Beach had opened the previous year with a 111-degree drop and now features the 9th steepest drop behind the Monster at Adventureland, Mumbo Jumbo at Flamingo Land, I want to go there, Timber Drop at Fry Spiritu City, Cannibal at Lagoon, Crazy Bird at Happy Valley, Tianjin, Green Lantern Coaster at Warner Brothers Movie World, Takabisha at Fuji Q Highland, which I think Fuji Q is the place that has that crazy coaster, right, Ben?
Yep.
And TMNT Shellraiser at Nickelodeon Universe. So there you go.
Flamingo.
Interlocking corkscrews are 2 corkscrew inversions that spin around each other.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
like one turns riders upside down over the other.
Oh, that's neat.
Flamingo Land is a park in the UK.
Nice. We should go to Flamingo Land.
Yeah.
Colossus held the world record for the most inversions on a roller coaster on opening in 2002 with 10 inversions before being beaten by the Smiler at Alton Towers Resort with 14 inversions. So we got to go on the one with 14 now, Jeff. Stealth is the UK's fastest roller coaster, launching from 0 to 80 in 1.9 seconds. Many places, such as signage on the ride, say 0 to 80 in 2.3 seconds, although that is actually incorrect, as the ride's launch was modified to accelerate faster in the off-season of 2013. Standing at 205 feet, it is also the UK's second tallest coaster behind the big one at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. So this is actually taller than I think Velocicoaster. I think Velocicoaster was like 155.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Tidal Wave opened as the Europe's tallest water ride. So that's the one that goes up and has the big splashdown. And Project Exodus, which we heard rumors of, will be the tallest roller coaster in the UK at 236 feet if approved. So, Project Exodus is a new coaster they're working on kind of in the back part of the park right now.
Dude, Flamingo Land looks intense.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm looking at the thrill rides. There's the Mumbo Jumbo. I think you might have mentioned that one. Cliffhanger, that looks terrifying. Here, let me look at this guy. Pterodactyl.
Oh, no, thank you.
That's brutal. Hero, you call a roller coaster ride Hero, you think there's a definitely good chance you're going to die.
Velocity.
Look at this monster. Flip-flop. That's Flip-flop.
Okay, that's the one that looks like one of the rides here. Vortex.
Yeah, that looks like a nightmare. And then whatever Navigator is. Good
Navigator?
Lord. Oh, Kumali. Oof.
Nice.
We got to go up to Yorkshire.
I'm a big fan of, Kamali.
And there's a zoo.
I loved him in Silicon Valley.
There's a zoo.
Nice. We'll go to the. I like the zoo. Go see
like
some
the zoo.
cheetahs.
Yeah.
Go see some monkeys.
See some flamingos. I assume.
So So Thorpe Park was a blast. We had a lot of fun. We've got our new sign. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. We bought a sign for the new set. Eventually, whenever that happens, I bought some socks. I bought some Thorpe Park socks as well, Jeff.
I had a blast, and it was really exciting and cool to be able to discover a theme park that I had honestly never heard of until we started this. And it really kind of opened my eyes to, like, even now, just we'd never heard of Flamingo Land until 10 minutes ago, and then you look it up and you're like, oh, this is an impressive entire ass theme park that we just had no knowledge of, and it really kind of opened my eyes to how many there probably are out there for us to explore, and how unique and creative and interesting and kind of fantastic they all are, and so that in itself was really awesome.
Yeah. It was cool, and it was like
very eye-opening.
I talked about it, on the day where it was the first time in since I was a kid that I went in blind to a brand new theme park.
That part was cool too. Watching you discover a theme park.
Yeah, like
was really neat.
Because I've done Universal, I've done Disney so many times. I know this like the back of my hand, but this was one I sort of intentionally was like, I don't want to learn a lot about stuff, and so I went in very blind, and I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
And then Matt was very, very clever. He would tell us, all right, the ride you're about to go on is a world first, but I won't tell you in what until after you've ride the ride. And so we would have to try to figure it out, which made a fun little game.
Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed that. Also, everyone that we interacted with contend that they have a thing at Thorpe Park for Halloween called Fright Nights.
Yeah.
That they insist is better than Halloween Horror Nights even. And Halloween Horror Nights is a top 10 experience I've had in terms of just like going off and doing stuff in my life. Like I had I'm still thinking about it, and I want to go back every year. And so the idea that there's another Halloween experience out there that's commensurate with that level of entertainment is very exciting.
Yeah, yeah. And they were even saying, like, so the UK, you can do some stuff in the UK that you really can't in the States, and there was one thing they were talking about. If you're staying on property during the Fright Nights, you can actually stay at the little hotel they have there, the Shark Hotel. But Matt
we're gonna do this to you, Ben.
Yeah, Matt was saying that they do a thing where you can sign up, you pay a certain amount, and they will go into your room and just kidnap one of your friends, and then you have to go into the park and track that person down. They leave clues, and you have to find your friend inside the park.
Or you don't, and you just go right back to bed.
Or you just go just ride rides all night. So
am I gonna like wake up Taken style one day just in the park?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they still do that, but oh man, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it was a blast, and I mean, and also that was the first time we really had gotten to experience a park with the pass holders too.
Yes,
and we got some great photos of us on rides. Ben Davis was there, the guy he's done a lot of awesome artwork.
Love hanging out with him.
He took some great photos of us on Colossus, Jeff, where you can just kind of see everyone all together on the thing. Like that's wrong, Ben. Hang on, let me show you these photos here. Like this one here, like that's just great. You can see like everyone.
Oh yeah, I look miserable. Yeah.
So we'll post all those on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/annual pass. Make sure to include them in there. But and also we got a bunch of ride photos too, and I'll send all those to whoever's editing this episode so they can cram them on there. But yeah, it was an awesome time. Thank you again to Thorpe Park for having us. Everyone was super friendly. Everyone was super nice. Hattie was a great VIP tour guide. She was fantastic. Matt for setting this up as well, and all the pass holders who joined us, and everyone who said hi to us throughout the time we were out there. It really meant a lot, and seeing people wearing like annual pass merchandise, that was really cool, and a lot of high fives were given.
And I can confirm that UK theme parks are at least as good as US theme parks. Can't say the same for UK hot dogs.
Yeah.
However, the rides were great.
Yeah, I will say the sodas all had actual sugar in them as opposed to high fructose corn syrup. So.
I'm a diet soda man, but yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, so again, thank you very much. We will absolutely have to go back to Thorpe Park and kind of catch all the stuff we missed out on. Maybe see Project Exodus as well, whenever that happens. And also we want to go. Of course, everyone's like, "Are you going to come to this park?" Yes, we'd love to go to that park. Like we want to go to Alton Towers. My wife and I, Katie, we're big fans of the Great British Throwdown, which is like the Bake Off except it's pottery.
Yeah.
And it's on Stoke-on-Trent, which Alton Towers is also in that same area. So I'm like, I need to make an excuse to go out there and go to the pottery and also go to the theme park. So yeah, we'll be back for sure. So thank you for being our first international park. It was a blast. And yeah, and so that's gonna do it for Thorpe Park. But now, Jeff, let's get into some Q&A from some people we had on the site. This is from the Justin Glatt interview. He was our projection mapping gentleman we talked to. So Odin's Keepers says, question. Hey, Jack and Jeff, I really want to thank you for making my Wednesday mornings go by quickly while I'm at work. I live here in Edmonton, where we have the largest indoor roller coaster in North America. Oh. It was the largest indoor in the world, but one has been built in Dubai that just edged out. My question is, where is the most remote location for a theme park you have visited? Love the show. Look forward to someday meeting you both. I would imagine maybe Thorpe Park for you.
That's easy. Thorpe Park in Staines or Slough or wherever it was.
I haven't visited, but I saw a theme park when I was in Taiwan. So I went to Taiwan for an Achievement Hunter thing forever ago, and as we were driving in the mountains, I just saw I saw a track of a roller coaster, and then I could see there was a whole theme park in Taiwan. Unfortunately, we didn't have time to stop there, but I would love to go back someday. I don't even know the name of that park. Ben, what's the name of the theme park in Taiwan? Sorry, I know you might be doing things, but now look up things. So I want to go there someday. I want to go back. Taiwan was beautiful. I'd love to get back to it. Jet Black Arsenal says, for a question for a general audience, we focus a lot on rides and the mechanics on how things work, but would anyone else be interested to hear the macro of it all? How parks are laid out to maximize flow, the reasoning to why certain attractions are placed where within a park, and a little how they deal with permitting of it all from an environmental standpoint. Just the last bit relates to what I do with work. So, yes, the answer to that is yes. I would love to talk about that. As a matter of fact, I have a cousin who works in the kind of larger scale, I don't know what you would call it, but he works in the industry of building attractions for companies.
Okay.
So his company, like Facebook will come to South by Southwest and like, we need a pavilion, and so his company will build it for them. And he'll go into theme parks. Like he told me about stories going into Disney and just picturing things, being like, oh, this is how this works, and this is placed here because of this. And so because of that, I want to go to a theme park with my cousin and kind of look at it from the forest for the trees sort of aspect of it.
Yeah.
And so yes, that is something I genuinely looked into and I want to talk about. So Jet Black Arsenal, we will cover that someday with someone in that industry. Ben.
Okay. First off, Taiwan has the best naming for theme parks. So we have one, Liufu Village Theme Park.
Okay.
I don't know if this is the one you were talking about. EDA Theme Park.
Okay.
Which is a Greek-style design park. Let's see here. Window on China Theme Park. And then Taipei Water Park.
Ooh.
And then John Fusoon Fancy World Theme Park, which sounds awesome. I thought that was going to be the best named theme park.
Fancy World?
Until I found the next one, which is Little Ding Dong Science Theme Park. So I want to go to all of these.
Little Ding Dong. Yes, we have to go.
Ding Dong Science
Jeff,
Park.
we're making a Taiwan trip. Hashtag get annual pass to Taiwan. Oh, man, that would be a blast.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, anyway, it's one of those. I'll have to look at photos and figure out which one it was. But, yeah, so that's it. So, all right, so now this is the point of the show where, I ask a question of the audience or the pass holders. You guys give answers. The question I asked during the interview episode was, what has been your favorite interaction with a character within a park? Galaxy Queen says, my favorite interactions with characters is the first time I went to Disney right before I started college. I met Buzz Lightyear and my mom said, smile, Jesse. And Buzz gave me a kiss on the cheek and got a photo of that for my 25th birthday. I went back to Disney and got some cool photos with Gaston and he gave me some dating advice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cute. Buzz with a little kiss, a little smooch. SJ Simpson says, my most memorable interaction with a character was in 2009 when my family and I were eating lunch at Garden Grill, the rotating restaurant at Epcot. Chip and Dale showed up when my dad wasn't paying attention and made him jump out of his skin. The chipmunks thought it was hilarious, so they spent the rest of our lunch sneaking up on my dad from various angles and scaring the crap out of him. At one point, he flinched so hard he almost punched Dale in the face. It's a memory that we still joke about to this day, and luckily we didn't get kicked out of Epcot for aggravated assault. Credens Justiem says, my favorite interaction was standing/watching the Jack Sparrow pirate tutorial at Disney World, and Jack Sparrow came up and flirted with me. I was feeling really crappy that day, and it made me both feel a little better and caused me to be on cloud 9 for the rest of the day. I have no idea if that cast member knew how that made my trip. My friends thought it was hilarious how I human blue screened for a moment, and I did. Human blue screen. That's
very
a
funny.
great term.
Yeah.
There's probably a picture on an old cell phone somewhere of Jack Sparrow and me. And last but not least, our winner for this week's episode is Kristen May. Pre-pandemonium, we went to Disney World for the first time. I will preface this by saying I was 33 the first time we went, and my husband and I had been saving up for literally years for this trip. We had met some of the princesses at this point, but none of the Fab Five until our dinner at Tusker House. I couldn't tell you anything about the food, but the first time I saw Donald Duck, he was the first one out, I burst into tears. 33 years of being a Disney fan, but never having seen these characters in person, I just couldn't handle my emotions. Donald came over and gave me a huge hug, touching my cheek. He turned to my husband and motioned that he needed to comfort me. I laughed and said, this isn't going to stop all dinner, so here we are. The pictures from the dinner are some of my favorite from that trip. My smile is huge, even though my eyes are bright red.
Aww.
That trip turned me into a Disney adult. That's super cute. That is super cute. So
yeah.
Kristen May, I'll reach out to you. We'll send you a theme park map autographed by Jeff and myself. And this week's question, Jeff.
Okay.
Seems very appropriate for Thorpe Park. What non-Disney international park should we travel to next? I'll expand that to say non-Disney, non-Universal. So what sort of regional park should we travel to next? I'm thinking Ding Dong Land. What was it called? Ding Dong Science Land or Fancy Pants or whatever it was?
Are we meant to answer this right now?
Yeah, you can if you'd like.
Well, I mean, obviously everybody wants to go to Ding Dong Land or Fancy Pants Land or whatever the other one was. But, setting our sights a little more achievable in the short term. I mean, I would also love to go to Flamingo Land.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, why don't we try to go to Six Flags, any of the Six Flags in Texas?
I said international park, Jeff.
Did you say international?
Yeah, I did.
Guess what? If we lived in Taiwan, Six Flags would be international.
That's true. I think any of those parks in Taiwan sound pretty awesome. Apparently, there's one in Spain. There's a park in Spain that's supposed to be amazing that I want to go. Or that Fuji-Q place, which has the coaster that'll crush your ribs. That sounds fun too. So I would love to go to any of those. But yes, go to roosterteeth.com. Answer in the comments, what non-Disney international park should we travel to next? And whether or not we will, what should we go to next? So thank you very much again. everyone for listening to this episode. It's been awesome. YouTube.com/annual pass if you want to watch the video version of this and also see some of those images from the park that we took while we were out there.
Or watch us learn how to make Dole Whip or put together a puzzle or play Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I forgot to mention real quick. So this book, The Unofficial Disney Parks Cookbook, was sent in by a fan. I've got a letter here. Dear Jack and Jeff, first off, I love the podcast. I don't get to go to amusement parks or theme parks as much as I would like to, but hearing you guys talk about them really fills the void. I've been to Disney World a few times growing up, but a lot has changed since then. See here. On request, can you do an episode on the Super Duper Looper at Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania? It was the first looping coaster on the East Coast, and from what I remember, it was my first coaster. I was there on a 5th grade field trip way back in 2000. And says, love the podcast. Thanks for all you guys do. Andy W. Thank you very much, Andy W., for this book. It's very, very kind of you. And also, don't forget, you can mail us stuff at 1901 East 51st Street, Austin, Texas, 78723. Put annual pass, care of Rooster Teeth Productions. We want postcards. Send us postcards. So send us postcards from your favorite parks to annual pass, care of Rooster Teeth Productions, 1901 East 51st Street, Austin, Texas, 78723. And at some point when we get a set, we'll put them all behind us and it'll look awesome. But thank you again, everyone. Jeff, do you feel like you learned something today?
I do. I learned that Taiwan has the best theme parks on Earth. I want to go be a ding-dong science guy.
Ding-dong science and wear your fancy pants. It'll be lots of fun. So that'll do it. Thank you again, everyone who listens, everyone who watches. Make sure to join our Discord group. Make sure to grab a shirt or a pennant or a sticker. We got these awesome stickers now.
Or a poncho.
You can grab all of those things over at store.roosterteeth.com. Follow us on social media, annual_pass on all the socials. And and that'll do it. And we'll see you guys next week for more. It's been a lot of fun. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.
TTFN.